think Yandy and Mendeecees have an open relationship?
At some point, maybe living in your truth is probably a better option.
As Carlos King, the lively host of Reality with the King, prepared to welcome Kirk Frost and Rasheeda, the studio was bustling with activity. The set's sleek, modern architecture and muted lighting created a cozy atmosphere that was perfect for the kind of pure, unfiltered conversation Carlos was looking for. Was renowned for Atlanta, a hip-hop and love season duo, came in with the confidence of people who had weathered public upheavals and come out stronger. Rasheeda was sitting in her chair with her hair flowing, and Kirk's calm, grounded manner filled the room with her vibrant energy. Analyzing the small audience, Carlos immediately got to the core of their story when he inquired about their 20-year marriage. His tone was friendly but inquisitive as he spoke, leaning forward. In the precarious world of reality TV, infrequently,
You feel like Yandy and Mendeecees are trying to come for y'all's spot.
Hey, long story short, me and Rasheeda's contract was up in month. That's what really happened.
Rasheeda talked candidly about the challenges they had faced. She talked with the authority of someone who had fought against suspicion and betrayal for love. Despite his reticence, Kirk admitted his past mistakes honestly as he described the slow, systematic process of rebuilding trust. The audience paid close attention to all they had to say since they felt that their trip was sincere, yet the conversation took an unanticipated turn as Carlos shifted. There was a playful gleam in the eyes of an experienced host who understood how to stir the pot without shattering it. Smith, Yandy, was his name. Because of their very close friendship, Harris and Mendez, another hip-hop celebrity pair, had been the subject of recent allegations. Rasheeda's visage tightened and a moment of hesitation flickered across her face. Yandy and she became buddies after growing close. In the meantime, Kirk shifted in his chair, his jaw clenched as if he were bracing himself for what was going to happen, through years of shared triumphs and failures. Carlos used gentle but persistent pressure to get Rasheeda to share her information. She gave in after a few moments of reflection, her voice composed but anxious. She described an upsetting conversation she had with a mutual acquaintance who was well known in their social circle and had revealed upsetting details regarding Mendeecees. The friend's stories of sexy encounters, late-night outings, and incriminating emails had begun to spread among the elite. Because of her allegiance to Yandy, Rasheeda was wary of rumors, but it was difficult to disregard the specifics of the accusations, such as dates, locations, and screenshots. Kirk added in a more reserved but equally instructive tone. He was friendly with Mendez. Based on mutual respect and a shared industrial experience, but Kirk had noticed a recent change in Mendez, a syngenist who had never been there before. Mendez had dismissed the rumors as blog garbage and avoided Kirk's attempt to respond to them by directly asking whether everything was okay at home. Kirk had a gut instinct, but commitment kept him from working too hard. Rasheeda dropped a silent bombshell in her next statement, recalling the conversation she had with Yandy. She spoke quietly and said that she had approached her friend cautiously to avoid surprising her and causing her more worry. Yandy's answer had been uncharacteristically silent. She had been evasive, saying merely that she and Mendez were working out some issues, instead of denying reports with her usual zeal. It was quite telling that there was no denial. And Rasheeda could feel the pain behind her friend's well-chosen remarks. As they processed the gravity of the revelation, the audience sat in stunned silence. Carlos, a master of time, waits for the situation to settle before continuing. When he asked Rasheeda how Yandy was managing the stress, she responded thoughtfully and showed her admiration for Yandy's resilience. Yandy was a mother, an entrepreneur, a strong lady, and advocate who built an empire despite overseeing Mendez's incarceration and the responsibilities of fame. But even the strongest women had their limitations, and Rasheeda knew that. Rasheeda was worried that Yandy may get very upset if Mendez was indeed betraying her trust. Encouraged by Carlos, Kirk expressed his perspective as someone who had been Mendeecees' former co-worker. His voice was full of wisdom gained through experience as he talked about the consequences for adultery. He was forthright about the agony and the amount of effort required to repair the damage. Kirk believed that a man had to accept full responsibility for his actions if he wanted to protect his family. No excuses or side trips. The audience nodded in accord, impressed by Kirk's integrity and accountability. Carlos experienced a shift from the height of his emotions to a more thorough reflection. He asked Rasheeda for advice. Now she would give Yandy. Her response was powerful and sympathetic, drawing on their shared experience as women juggling fame and love. She discussed how knowing when to fight and when to back off might help one keep their peace of mind. According to Rasheeda, Yandy deserved to be treated with dignity and integrity. She was also strong enough to clear her own path in the event that Mendez was unable to do so. The statements resonated deeply with the audience, who murmured in agreement as the conversation went on. Down Carlos diffused the situation by joking that Rasheeda and Yandy would talk about the incident on the next season of Love and Hip Hop. The stress was reduced by Rasheeda's humor and friendliness. She swiftly canceled the idea, claiming that some of the interactions were too real for the cameras. Any conversation about this would be private and out of the spotlight because of the sacred bond she shared with Yandy. Kirk nodded in agreement, displaying their united front with his silent support. As the evening drew to an end, Carlos complimented Kirk and Rasheeda for their openness. Then he addressed the crowd, asking them to subscribe and watch for more uncensored content. Rasheeda and Kirk looked at each other as the cameras panned out, a nonverbal acknowledgement of the weight they had just unloaded. The studio's lighting decreased, but the impact of what they said kept spreading, reaching admirers and friends alike. For Rasheeda, the podcast was more than simply a place to talk, it was a chance to stand up for a friend and question authority. It allowed Kirk to reflect on his own growth and provide a cautionary tale. Additionally, it reminded Yandy that she had support from her network and that she wasn't alone in spite of the rumors were going around. The story was not yet complete, but under Carlos's deft supervision, a chapter had been presented to the world in that studio, uncensored and real. As Carlos King, the lively host of Reality with the King, prepared to welcome Kirk Frost and Rasheeda, the studio was bustling with activity. The set's simple, modern design and subtle lighting created a warm atmosphere perfect for the kind of pure, unrefined conversation Carlos is known for. Atlanta, a hip-hop and love seasoned duo, came in with the confidence of people who had weathered public upheavals and come out stronger. While Rasheeda's vibrant energy filled the room, her braids flowing as she sat down in her chair, Kirk maintained a calm, collected manner, his gaze sweeping the small gathering. Carlos launched straight into their story's major plot. He asked about their 20-year marriage, a remarkable achievement in the shaky world of reality TV, in a gentle but sharp way. Rasheeda discussed their struggles candidly. She talked with the authority of someone who had fought against suspicion and betrayal for love. Despite his reticence, Kirk admitted his past mistakes honestly as he described the slow, systematic process of rebuilding trust. The audience continued to pay attention, recognizing the authenticity of their journey in each and every phrase. However, Carlos shifted the topic, and the conversation took an unexpected turn. The mischievousness of a seasoned host who knew how to stir things up without offending anyone was evident in his eyes. He brought up Mendeecees and Yandy Smith-Harris, another powerful hip-hop couple whose ostensibly unbreakable connection had been the subject of recent rumors. The Rasheeda's her countenance stiffened, and there was a brief silence. She and Yandy developed a strong bond because of their shared struggles and successes over the years. While all of this was happening, Kirk shifted in his seat, his jaw tight as if he were getting ready for something. Carlos continued to gently coax Rasheeda into sharing all she knew. After a moment of internal struggle, she finally gave in, speaking in a calm but concerned voice. She explained a distressing conversation with a well-connected common acquaintance who had revealed unsettling details about Mondays. Rasheeda was wary of rumors due to her loyalty to Yandy, but the friends' in-depth accounts of late-night adventures, sexy encounters, and incriminating texts, including screenshots, that had begun to circulate among those in the know made it. Kirk added, unable to dismiss, in a more reserved but no less revealing tone.